Welcome back to my channel. It all began with a scream, so sharp, so raw, that even the cameras seemed to flinch. Meri's voice tore through the marble halls, echoing like a judgment of its own, while Kody Brown froze mid-step before the judge. The courtroom fell into chaos as Robin crumpled in real time, the world watching, riveted and horrified. 22 years of family secrets, tangled loyalties, and hidden betrayals were unraveling on national television, and no one was prepared for the shock that lay at the heart of it all. If you could ask the Browns a single question before this trial unfolds, what would it be? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because what you're about to witness will change everything. Outside, the courthouse rose like a fortress against the gray morning sky. Rain streaked down stone columns, and slick steps reflected the pallor of the day. By sunrise, news crews had already encircled the building, cameras poised like vultures. Antennas stretched skyward, crews buzzing with a restless energy that only a story this explosive could generate. This was no ordinary trial. This was the day the Browns would face judgment, not just from the law, but from the eyes of the public, from their own family, and from the millions who once envied their televised unity. Kody arrived first. Shoulders slumped, hair unkempt, eyes red-rimmed from sleepless nights. He walked through the drizzle like a man carrying the weight of every secret ever kept. His suit was plain, a careful choice designed to make him look unassuming, even exposed. His lawyer hustled him up the steps, sharp lines and sharper cologne cutting through the damp air. Kody scanned the perimeter, looking for his wives, but none had come. Alone. For the first time in decades, he truly was alone. Inside, the marble lobby swallowed him in its sterile silence. Security waved him through, but Kody's fists clutched the strap of his bag so tightly that his knuckles whitened. Reporters whispered and scribbled, capturing every twitch, every shadow of doubt crossing his face. Boots clicking against stone, he marched forward like a man on a countdown, each step echoing in the cavernous hall. And then the first storm arrived. Meri. Her eyes, red-rimmed and unflinching, met the world with a cold determination. Flanked by her lawyer, she moved with the precision of someone carrying years of hidden strategy. Next came Janelle, clutching a battered brown notebook swollen with decades of secrets and observations, each page a silent testament to patience and resolve. Christine followed, her small daughter's hand locked in hers, radiating quiet but unyielding strength. And finally, Robin, mascara already smudged, a tissue clutched as though it could shield her from the reckoning that had arrived. The four women paused near the benches, eyes darting toward one another, yet refusing to meet fully. Silence thickened, a tangible presence, heavy with unspoken accusations and the weight of years. Cameras erupted in staccato bursts. Kody's gaze searched for Robin's, but she stared at the floor. He shifted to Meri. She looked right through him. Courtroom 4B opened. The bailiff called, "All rise." The drama was about to unfold. Inside, the courtroom gleamed with polished wood and harsh fluorescent light. Lemon-scented cleaners mingled with the faint tang of anxiety. Every seat was filled, the front row a gallery of old friends, former neighbors, ex-in-laws, and even a former TLC producer, pen poised, capturing every second. The judge, an immovable force, presided with a stoic mask of experience, gavel ready to dictate the flow of truth. Kody took his seat at the defense table. His lawyer whispered urgently, flipping through folders, while the prosecution methodically unpacked their arsenal of evidence, the stacks of files speaking volumes about years of calculated preparation. The tension was nearly physical, pressing against the skin, crowding the air until every breath felt labored. The bailiff intoned, "Case number Brown versus Brown, State versus Kody Brown. Charges: fraud, conspiracy, and misappropriation of family assets." Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robin sat together, a fragile alliance formed by necessity rather than choice. For the first time, they were united in the pursuit of something greater than their differences, the unvarnished truth. Kody tried to look away, but the weight of their gaze made it impossible. The prosecutor rose with measured calm, his words slicing through the courtroom like a scalpel. The Brown family, he declared, was not what America had been led to believe. Hidden accounts, secret property dealings, and long-broken promises painted a picture far darker than the one the cameras had ever captured. Evidence would be laid bare. The voices of those most hurt would be heard. Kody fidgeted. His mouth twitched. His defense attorney rose, painting him as a man burdened by responsibility, a father and husband doing the best he could in impossible circumstances. Mistakes, he insisted, were born of desperation, not malice. Janelle rolled her eyes. Christine bit her lip. Robin clutched her tissue. And then the gavel cracked, sharp and absolute. Call your first witness. The air thickened, suffocating, each second stretching into eternity. Every heartbeat, every breath, every glance carried the weight of revelation. The trial had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The back row whispers, a single cough slicing through the tense silence, quickly stifled, but not forgotten. The court reporter's fingers tap an unrelenting rhythm, a mechanical heartbeat against the human storm unfolding. The prosecutor's voice cuts through the air, calm yet unstoppable. Mrs. Meri Brown, would you please take the stand? Every camera pivots, every lens trained, every reporter leaning forward, trying to catch the smallest flicker of emotion. Meri rises, the chair legs scraping sharply across the floor, echoing in the cavernous courtroom. She walks the aisle with deliberate steps, each one a silent testament to courage born of years of betrayal. Kody doesn't look up from the table. Robin dabs at her eyes, mascara smudging like shadows of the secrets being unearthed. Christine grips her daughter's hand, while Janelle's face is taut, a mask of worry tempered with a glimmer of something else, maybe hope, maybe vengeance. Mary's hands tremble as she is sworn in, folding them tightly in her lap, forcing herself to meet the prosecutor's gaze. Mrs. Brown, how would you describe the last 5 years of your marriage? A single tear slips down her cheek, but Meri doesn't look away. Her voice, quiet but cutting, pierces the room. It was like living in a house with no doors. Every time I thought I found a way out, it disappeared. Every time I tried to trust Kody again, there was another secret waiting for me. The prosecutor softens his tone, drawing her out. Can you tell us about the first time you suspected something was wrong? Meri inhales shakily, eyes drifting to the jury. It was after filming stopped. The money stopped matching the bills. I'd ask about the accounts, and he'd tell me it was handled by Robin or Janelle or sometimes by no one. I was locked out of online banking. He said it was a glitch, but the glitches never stopped. Her voice grows steadier as she recounts a night burned into memory, Kody whispering frantically in the dark kitchen, the glow of his phone lighting his face, shutting the screen every time she entered. Each word Meri speaks lands heavier than the last, as if she's forcing the truth into the light that had been hidden for too long. If you've ever wondered what secrets sound like, lean in. This is it. The prosecutor presses further. Did you feel threatened? Meri swallows hard. Not by violence, but by erasure. He stopped seeing me. I wasn't part of the plan anymore. For a moment, Kody lifts his eyes. Pale face. Jaw clenched. A crack, a glimpse behind his carefully maintained facade. The prosecutor holds up a stack of documents, bank records, emails, receipts. Mrs. Brown, are these familiar to you? Meri scans them, lips moving silently as she reads. That's my signature, but I never saw this form. This is a transfer to an account I don't know. She shoves the papers away, hands trembling. The defense objects, but the judge overrules. The prosecution presses on, painting a picture of manipulation, of deceit, of carefully hidden betrayal. Financial documents forged or coerced. Emails rewritten. Passwords changed. Meri grows more animated. He told me it was for the family. Every time it was for the family, but the family kept getting smaller, didn't it? Christine leans forward, eyes bright with the fire of justice. Janelle scribbles notes, precise and furious. Robin stares down at her lap, silent, trapped between shock and grief. The room feels alive with raw emotion. Every secret, every lie, every heartbreak now exposed under the unforgiving lights of the courtroom. The prosecutor changes tack. Did you ever confront Kody? Meri's face hardens. Once, when the kids were asleep, I asked him to explain a withdrawal. He called me paranoid, jealous, told me to trust him, or leave. The jury murmurs, stunned by the blunt truth. Meri's lawyer rises, gentle but firm. Meri, why did you stay? Meri's gaze sweeps across her fellow wives. I thought if I just loved enough, forgave enough, I could save what we had. I didn't want to be the one who broke the family. Her voice cracks, a heartbeat of raw, unfiltered pain. The room feels smaller, the walls pressing in. Kody's lawyer rises, silk suit and practice smirk. Mrs. Brown, would you say you're angry? Meri straightens, anger flickering into life, sharp as a blade. I'm devastated, furious, but mostly, I'm tired of hiding. A gasp ripples through the gallery. Every person in that room feels it, the suffocating, unbearable truth of being trapped by someone else's choices. The defense tries again, dredging up old fights, fame-induced pressure, televised mistakes. Meri doesn't flinch. We all made mistakes. But I didn't steal from my family. The defense rests. The judge nods. You may step down. Meri walks back to her seat. Janelle squeezes her hand, a silent acknowledgement of resilience and justice beginning to unfold. The courtroom holds its breath, knowing this is only the beginning. Christine brushes her shoulder, a subtle motion, but even Robin glances at her, uncertain, lost, as if silently asking, what now? The prosecution calls its next witness, but before the courtroom can react, Kody rises. His voice is low, tight, threaded with tension. Your Honor, I'd like to say something. The judge frowns, her gaze sharp. You'll have your chance, Mr. Brown. Kody sits, but the air around him seems to vibrate, heavy with anticipation. The clock ticks relentlessly. Barely an hour into the trial, yet already the walls feel like they're trembling under the weight of years of secrets and lies. A short recess sends reporters into the hallway like sharks circling prey. Cameras flash, questions fly. Meri, will you forgive him? Christine, did you know about the money? Janelle, were you complicit? Robin keeps her head down, weaving past the press, silent but unbroken. The sisters form an unspoken shield around one another. For the first time in decades, the power doesn't rest with Kody, it rests with the women. Back inside, whispers ripple through the gallery. A former TLC producer murmurs, "This is bigger than anything we ever aired." The judge lifts her gavel, commanding silence as the next witness steps forward. Christine. Kody closes his eyes, sweat beading his brow, lips moving in a silent prayer, or perhaps a curse. Christine rises, her movements precise, her gaze meeting Meri's for a fleeting nod of encouragement before stepping into the harsh courtroom light. The truth is beginning to spill, and everyone can feel it. Christine smooths her blouse, her hands trembling only slightly, and walks with measured steps toward the witness stand. Her heels click against the polished floor, echoing like the heartbeat of the moment itself. Cameras pivot, capturing every detail, every micro-expression. She pauses, takes the oath, and sits, her composure seemingly rehearsed, but her eyes burn with unspoken fire. Miss Christine Brown, you may begin, the judge says. The prosecutor leans in, his voice gentle, almost coaxing. Christine, you've waited a long time to speak. Please tell the court what you discovered. Christine inhales, squares her shoulders, and glances at Kody just once. And in that glance, everyone sees it. Years of silence, years of heartbreak, and a voice long buried under the weight of a family that was never what it appeared to be. I didn't go looking for secrets, she says softly, voice steady, but heavy with grief. I was just trying to balance our food expenses. The jury shifts in their seats as Christine unfolds the story. She describes opening the ledger, what should have been a simple family budget, and discovering numbers that didn't match, transactions she never authorized, transfers she never saw, property payments she never knew about. Her fingers tighten on the edge of the stand as she recounts the moment reality cracked open. Kody exhales sharply, shaking his head. His lawyer whispers urgently, but Kody's eyes never leave Christine. They are fixed on the ghost of the truth he can no longer hide. The prosecutor hands Christine a file. "Is this the ledger you mentioned?" She nods, flipping to the page that changed everything. Her voice wavers, not with weakness, but with the sharp weight of truth as she reads aloud, a payment for land registered under a company she doesn't recognize. "I thought it was a typo," she says. "But then I found more. A lot more." Her voice cracks, carrying the weight of betrayal, and she wipes her eyes without stopping. "I confronted Kody," she continues, meeting his gaze now. "I asked why these bills existed, why these properties were being moved, why so much money was vanishing. He said I was overreacting. He said I didn't understand how family finances worked anymore." Christine closes the ledger with a soft thud, a sound that resonates like a slammed door across the courtroom. Every breath in the room catches. Anyone who's ever uncovered a life-altering secret feels it now, the weight of someone you trusted, undone before your eyes. The prosecutor steps back. "Christine, what happened after that?" She swallows hard. "That same night, I heard him downstairs whispering. I went to check, but he wasn't on the phone. He was talking to Robin. He said, 'They'll never understand. They'll never look deep enough.' And Robin, she just nodded." A murmur spreads through the gallery, but the judge pounds her gavel once, restoring order. Christine exhales, letting herself feel the truth she's carried for so long. "That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. Not just money, not just mistakes, secrets. Hidden deals. Quiet plans." The prosecutor leans forward. "Christine, there's something else the court should know, isn't there?" Christine reaches into her purse. The room tenses. No one expects this. Not even Kody. She pulls out a thick, sealed envelope, edges worn. "I didn't mean to find this," she whispers. "But once I did, I couldn't ignore it." Kody bolts upright. "Your Honor." "Sit down, Mr. Brown." The judge's gavel snaps sharply, a sound that cuts through the courtroom like lightning. Christine opens the envelope, her hands steady despite the tremor in her chest. Inside, hundreds of printed emails, bound with a simple rubber band, but each page heavier than the last. "These," Christine whispers, "are emails between Kody and a financial consultant, a consultant we never hired, a consultant none of the wives knew about." The prosecutor approaches slowly, every step deliberate. "Christine, would you please read one of them?" Hand shaking, yet steady enough to hold the truth, she unfolds a single sheet. Her voice carries over the room, low but unmistakable. "Move the funds by Friday. They won't check the secondary account. Robin will sign whatever is needed. Keep Meri distracted." Gasps ripple across the gallery. Robin clutches her hands to her mouth, eyes wide with disbelief. Kody's jaw drops, his face pale. Christine takes another breath, fighting to hold back tears. "There's more," she says, voice trembling with the weight of revelation. "So much more." The prosecutor gathers the rest of the emails and hands them to the judge. Her eyes scan the first page, tightening with concentration. "Mrs. Brown, how did you obtain these documents?" "They were in the safe under Kody's desk," Christine answers, voice breaking. "The safe, he said he didn't use it anymore." She wipes her tears, silently, determined. The courtroom seems frozen, the air itself suspended in disbelief. The prosecutor leans in. "Christine, in your opinion, were these transactions done with the knowledge of all the wives?" "No," she says instantly. "Not even close." Kody slams his fists on the table. "That's not true." "She's twisting, Mr. Brown." The judge interrupts, voice cold, unwavering. "If you interrupt again, I will hold you in contempt." He sinks back into his chair, cheeks burning, while Christine turns her gaze toward him, not with anger, but with devastation. You could have told us, she says quietly. You could have trusted us. Suddenly, Robin erupts into loud, uncontrollable sobs. Her attorney reaches for her, but she shakes her head violently. I didn't know he was doing all of this, she cries. Christine, I swear he told me it was all for the family. Christine looks away, her breathing slow, shaky, controlled only by sheer will. The prosecutor lets the silence hang for a heartbeat before speaking again. Christine, did you ever feel unsafe? The room stills. Christine hesitates, then speaks, voice measured but heavy. Yes. Janelle's eyes widen. Meri presses a hand to her mouth. Even Robin pauses mid-sob. I felt unsafe because Kody wasn't just hiding money. He was hiding who he'd become. Someone I didn't recognize, someone who lied without blinking, someone who didn't care, who he hurt. Her shoulders shake. I stayed because of the kids, because of the family we built. But I realized I was staying for something that no longer existed. The prosecutor steps back, giving her a moment. Christine, is there anything you want Kody to hear today? Anything you've waited to say? Her eyes fix on him, the man she once loved, the father of her children, the one who had destroyed the life they built together. I want you to know, she says, quiet but razor sharp. I trusted you more than anyone, and you used that trust like currency. You weren't overwhelmed. You weren't confused. You knew exactly what you were doing. She leans forward, tears streaming freely now. And you did it anyway. Kody sits, frozen, chest rising and falling rapidly, panic crawling into his eyes. It's the look of a man finally confronted with the truth he has denied for years, a house crumbling from the inside out. The prosecutor nods, satisfied. No further questions. The judge turns to the defense. Kody's lawyer rises, smoothing his tie, approaching Christine with practiced calm. Miss Brown, emotions run high in situations like this. Isn't it possible that you misinterpreted? Christine's voice cuts him off, icy and precise. No. I didn't misinterpret anything. He tries again. Perhaps the emails were drafts, maybe they weren't sent? Christine shakes her head. Stamped. Time-coded. The lawyer swallows hard. Christine, be honest. Do you blame Robin for this? Christine hesitates only a moment, then shakes her head. No. I blame Kody. Robin breaks into fresh sobs, tolerated for only a heartbeat before the judge signals for control. The defense presses harder. You're angry, aren't you? Christine smiles sadly. Angry? I'm furious. But anger doesn't change facts. The lawyer tries one last tactic. Isn't it true you left the marriage before fully understanding everything? Christine lifts her chin, unwavering. I left because I was being lied to. Not because I lacked information, but because the truth I did know was enough to break me. Silence descends, heavy and suffocating. The lawyer retreats. No further questions. Christine rises, exhausted yet powerful, walking back to the wives' bench. Meri squeezes her arm. Janelle touches her shoulder. Even Robin whispers, I'm sorry. Christine doesn't respond. Meri turns to the judge. Their eyes meet for a heartbeat, sharing something silent, unspoken, and strong. Before the next witness can be called, the prosecution steps forward. Your Honor, before we proceed, we request permission to introduce a new piece of evidence. Every eye in the courtroom tenses. Every breath hangs suspended. The story is far from over. Even the court reporter looks up, fingers pausing mid-tap. The judge frowns, eyes narrowing. What kind of evidence? A video, Your Honor, the prosecutor says, voice calm but firm. Recently discovered. Kody's face drains of color. A screen is wheeled forward, wires snaking across the polished floor. A speaker hums to life. The monitor flickers. Every wife's gaze fixes on the screen, breaths caught in their throats. The judge nods. Proceed. The prosecutor presses play. A grainy nanny cam video flickers onto the screen. Time-stamped. In the corner of Robin's old living room, a shadow of a man paces. Kody, speaking into his phone, discussing transfers, the wives, and strategies to cover his tracks. Robin collapses into her seat. Meri gasps. Christine covers her mouth, eyes wide, frozen in disbelief. Kody stands, shaking, protest forming on his lips. That's taken out of context, he blurts. The judge slams her gavel. Enough. But the video continues. A woman's voice, soft and unmistakable, floats over the room. Robin, Kody, just do it. They don't need to know. The courtroom erupts. The betrayal runs deeper than anyone imagined, far beyond what anyone thought possible. The wives stare at the screen, hearts pounding. Kody stares at his hands, pale, helpless. Robin hides her face, sobbing behind trembling fingers. The prosecutor waits, letting the chaos settle until the thickest silence of the day blankets the room. Your Honor, he says finally, voice cutting through the tension. The state rests for now. The judge exhales, nodding. Court will recess for 15 minutes. Christine walks back to her seat, hollow yet triumphant. She doesn't look at Kody, but he watches her every step, fear etched across his face, the kind that knows this is far from over. The truth has begun to rise, and he knows exactly what's coming next. Janelle sits at the edge of her seat, notebook balanced on her knees, fingers fidgeting with its dog-eared corners. The courthouse hums with the low buzz of tension, reporters leaning in, coffee machines whirring. But above it all, a static charge of anticipation hangs in the air. As the break ends, whispers fade to silence. Eyes move from Kody, rigid and stone-faced, to the wives' bench, where Meri and Christine lean close, sharing muted words, their unity undeniable. Robin sits apart, dabbing swollen eyes, shoulders curling like a question mark. The judge's voice rings out, sharp and commanding. Janelle Brown, please take the stand. Her breath catches. Her stomach twists with nerves, but she straightens, clutching her notebook like armor. Each step forward is deliberate, a march toward justice, not just for herself, but for every wife who had ever doubted her instincts. The courtroom seems to shrink around her, the air thick with expectation. Janelle sits, the cool air conditioning humming above, sweat gathering on her palms. The prosecutor approaches, voice gentle but firm. Janelle, you've been with the Brown family almost as long as anyone. Can you tell the court what you discovered in your own search for the truth? She opens her notebook, a patchwork of handwritten notes, taped bank statements, highlighted receipts, and a faded family photo from better times. I was always the one paying attention to the numbers, she begins, voice low but steady. Bills, taxes, income, and expenses. At first, it all made sense. But then little things started adding up. She flips a page, revealing a printed spreadsheet, each cell marked in different colors. Withdrawals she never made. A safe deposit box she didn't know existed. She confronted Kody. His answer, money moved for taxes. But it wasn't just tax season. It was every month. The prosecutor leans in. Did you discover where the money went? Janelle glances at Kody, then Robin. Some went into an account in Robin's name. Some disappeared entirely. But I found receipts for a property in Arizona, a property none of us ever saw. Meri tightens her lips. Christine curls her fists. Kody clenches his jaw, saying nothing. The gallery watches, every buried secret now exposed. Fact by cold fact. The prosecutor asks, did you confront Robin? Janelle nods. I did. I found the key to the safe deposit box in her purse. At first, she denied it. Then she got defensive, said she was just following Kody's instructions, that he was protecting us. Robin's head drops lower, nearly vanishing behind a curtain of hair. Janelle swallows, voice breaking slightly. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But after Christine's emails, I knew we couldn't keep pretending. She draws a deep breath, flipping to another page. There was one thing I never told anyone. Until today, I hired a forensic accountant. The courtroom reacts like a flare has been lit. Kody pales. The judge's eyes widen. Janelle presses on, hands trembling only slightly. The accountant traced several transfers. Amounts leaving our joint account, landing in accounts only Kody could access. But then there was a cash withdrawal, $50,000. The same week Robin bought a new car. Robin jerks upright, shocked. It wasn't my money, Kody blurts. The judge raises her hand. Mrs. Brown, you'll have your chance. Janelle's eyes fill with tears. I realized then the family I thought I was protecting didn't exist anymore. We were just pieces in Kody's game. When I tried to confront him, he turned it around, said I was paranoid, trying to break up the family. The prosecutor nods solemnly. And what did you do with this information? I documented everything, she says, lifting her notebook. Every date, every amount, every argument. I compared notes with Meri and Christine. That's when the picture became clear. It wasn't just money, it was about power, about control. And how did Kody react when you confronted him? The prosecutor asked. Janelle's hands shook slightly, but her voice remained steady, sharp, unflinching. He screamed. He accused me of betrayal. He threatened to cut me off from the children, from the property, said that if I told anyone, I'd regret it. A bitter laugh escaped Kody, hollow and falling flat in the heavy courtroom air. The judge leaned forward, voice firm. Miss Brown, did you feel threatened? Janelle nodded, eyes glistening with unshed tears. Absolutely. I started hiding my notes. I told my children to lock their phones. I stopped sleeping through the night. Christine reached over, squeezing her arm. A silent gesture of solidarity amid the storm. The prosecutor's next question landed like a gavel striking polished wood. Janelle, in your opinion, could this have all been a misunderstanding? Could this have been an honest mistake? Janelle shook her head, a movement decisive, final. No. Kody knew exactly what he was doing. He manipulated all of us. He used love as leverage. A heavy silence blanketed the room. Every breath felt stolen. The weight of truth pressed down on the courtroom walls. The prosecutor turned to the judge. No further questions, Your Honor. Kody's lawyer rose, shifting uncomfortably, attempting to poke holes in her story. He asked about Janelle's own investments, her independence, disagreements with Kody before. But every attempt fell flat. Her answers were calm, measured, and devastatingly clear. Did you ever take money out for your own purposes? The lawyer pressed. I always told Kody, I have nothing to hide, she replied. And what about your relationship with Christine and Meri? Could that have colored your perspective? Janelle's gaze swept the courtroom, voice steady. My perspective was colored by bank statements, not friendship. Even the jury shifted in their seats, moved by her clarity. The kind of clarity that exposes a truth too long buried. Could you have the strength to expose your own family, knowing it might destroy everything you built? The judge signaled. Janelle stepped down, chin held high, a single tear slipping quietly down her cheek. Christine hugged her. Meri pressed a tissue into her palm. Robin, wide-eyed and horrified, watched in silence. The courtroom remained intense, charged quiet, every breath drawn carefully. The judge's voice cut through the tension. Does the defense have any further questions? No, Your Honor, muttered Kody's lawyer. Then, unexpectedly, Robin's attorney stood. Your Honor, with the court's permission, Mrs. Robin Brown wishes to make a statement, outside of scheduled testimony. Gasps rippled across the gallery. Kody's eyes bulged, mouth forming a silent, desperate. No. Robin, trembling, rose from her chair. The judge nodded. You may speak, Mrs. Brown, but be advised, this is not sworn testimony. Robin's voice shook, desperation bleeding through every word. I love this family. I still do. Kody told me everything he did was to protect us. But I didn't understand the full extent. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I didn't know about the offshore account or the property in my name until the paperwork came through. Her voice hitched. I thought if I kept quiet, it would all go away. Meri whispered to Christine, she's finally breaking. Robin continued, words spilling, urgent and unfiltered. I know you all blame me. Maybe you should, but I was lied to too. I was told to trust, to sign, to stay silent. Kody stood, rage and panic twisting his face. "That's not true. Robin, you promised." "Mr. Brown, sit down, or I will clear the courtroom," the judge snapped, cold and unyielding. Robin collapsed into sobs, incoherent, shaking violently. The judge signaled a short recess. Chaos erupted. Reporters bolted for the doors, phones were raised, and the public gallery buzzed with theories, anger, and shock. If you've ever watched someone crumble under the weight of secrets, you know, this is the moment that changes everything. During the recess, Janelle, Meri, and Christine formed a circle, arms linked, a wall of unity no one could breach. Kody stormed out with his lawyer, muttering curses, face flushed red with fury. Outside, Robin sat on a bench, attorney rubbing her shoulder. Tears streamed silently, her gaze empty. Inside, the shift was clear. Kody no longer looked powerful. He looked trapped, hunted by the lies he had spun. The press circled like predators, eyes on every wife, every movement, every tear. When court resumed, the judge's tone was sharper than ever. "We are moving forward. No more outbursts." The next witness, the forensic accountant. A middle-aged woman in a gray suit stepped forward. Her testimony was clinical but devastating. She traced the paths of the money, every diversion from joint accounts into personal accounts, some offshore. Many transfers required 2 signatures. In countless cases, only Kody's was present, sometimes digitally forged. She presented screenshots, timelines, banking alerts. The jury gasped as she described a family trust emptied in less than a week. Janelle's hand shook violently, almost dropping her notebook. "In my professional opinion," the accountant concluded, "this was a coordinated effort to deceive multiple parties over a period of years." Kody's lawyer tried to discredit her, hinting at bias, accusing her of being paid by the wives. She calmly produced credentials, her report, itemized billing, immovable proof. "If you think things couldn't get worse, wait." The evidence was no longer just words. It was numbers, signatures, cold, undeniable truth. The judge adjourned for the day. As the crowd filed out of the courthouse, the Browns lingered in the echoing hallway. Janelle, Meri, and Christine drew together, not by love, but by survival. Robin stood alone, the world she tried to protect crumbling around her. Kody was last to leave, shoulders hunched, eyes darting like a cornered animal. The courthouse doors swung open onto a night colder than before. And in that chill, one truth was clear. Tomorrow, someone would confess. Tomorrow, a secret would shatter everything. But tonight, every Brown lay awake, haunted by the same question: what will remain when the truth has finished with us? The next morning, the courtroom lights flickered on again. Everyone felt older, as if years, not hours, had passed since the last gavel. Even the air was heavier, thick with exhaustion and anticipation. The press had multiplied. Protesters and fans clustered outside, sharing rumors and TikTok videos, desperate for a glimpse of the family whose secrets had outgrown reality. Inside, the wives took their seats in a new formation. Janelle, Meri, and Christine side by side, an impenetrable wall. Robin hesitated in the doorway, face pale from a night of crying. She glanced at Kody, who barely acknowledged her, then lowered herself to the end of the row, separated from the others by a chasm of grief and blame. Kody entered last, guarded by his lawyer like a fallen king. His swagger was gone. His suit, once crisp, now looked slept in. He avoided cameras, the crowd, even the women who once shared his dreams. The room fell silent as he took his seat, hands clenching the edge of the table until his knuckles turned white. The judge's voice rang out, sharper than stone. "We resume testimony in the matter of Brown versus Brown. Mr. Kody Brown, the court calls you to the stand." A murmur rippled through the room. Kody hesitated, glancing at his lawyer. He rose stiffly, each step toward the witness box seeming to cost him a year of his life. Sworn in, he sat, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on a spot just above the judge's head, anywhere but his wife's. The prosecutor leaned in, voice deliberate. Mr. Brown, the evidence against you is overwhelming, but this is your opportunity. Explain to the court and to your family why you did what you did. Kody's jaw worked. A long pause. Finally, a thin, raw voice. I never wanted this. I wanted to build something nobody else had. A family that survived anything. But when the show ended, everything changed. The money dried up. The kids grew up and moved out. I started making decisions alone because I thought I was the only one who could fix things. His gaze flicked to Janelle, then Christine and Meri. I lied because I was afraid of failing all of you. Mary's eyes narrowed. Christine let out a bitter, incredulous laugh. Janelle's face remained unreadable. Confessions, Kody learned, never sound heroic. They are small, shaky, almost always too late. The prosecutor's voice sharpened. You say you lied out of fear. What about the bank transfers, the secret properties, the forged signatures? Kody swallowed hard. I thought if I moved the money, I could save us. I thought I could put it back before anyone noticed. I didn't mean to scare them. I panicked. He looked at Robin. For a moment, a flicker of connection. She had trusted him. She had signed blindly. I betrayed all of them. Tears ran down Robin's face, but she didn't look away this time. Did you forge Mary's signature? The prosecutor pressed. Kody hesitated. Yes, once. Maybe more than once. I justified it. Said it was for the good of the family. I see now that was a lie too. Mary's breath caught. Shock murmured through the gallery. And what do you want her family and this court to understand about your actions? His voice cracked. I love them. Even when I was lost, even when I was stupid, I thought I was doing the right thing. I'm sorry, gu. I'm so sorry. The room stilled. Every eye fixed on him, not with sympathy, but with something colder. The dawning satisfaction that truth, long denied, was finally spoken aloud. The prosecutor stepped back. No further questions. The judge turned to the wives. Does any member of the family wish to speak? Christine rose first. Hands trembled, eyes ablaze. You didn't love us, Kody. You loved what we gave you. A story, a legacy. When it was gone, so were we. Janelle followed, voice low but fierce. You used my loyalty as a weapon. You stole from us, and you stole from yourself. Mary's voice shook. You broke us, Kody, and you don't get to decide who we are now. Robin tried to rise, then slumped back, unable to speak. The judge regarded Kody, grave. Do you wish to say anything else, Mr. Brown? He shook his head, tears streaming. The court will now hear closing arguments, she declared. The lawyer's words filled the room. The prosecutor's summary was surgical, hidden accounts, forged signatures, threats, emotional coercion. Kody was not a mastermind. He was a man driven by fear, whose actions snowballed into a catastrophe that hurt everyone he claimed to love. The defense pleaded for mercy. Kody was a broken man. He's already lost everything. Prison would serve no purpose but revenge. But the words fell hollow. The evidence was too much, the betrayal too raw. The jury left to deliberate. In their absence, the Browns sat in silence. Only Robin's muffled sobs and the scratch of a reporter's pen filled the air. When the jury returned, faces pale but resolute, they handed a sheet to the judge. In the matter of Brown versus Brown, she said, voice steady, we find the defendant, Kody Brown, guilty on all major counts. Shock rippled through the room. Kody crumpled. His lawyer grabbed his arm, whispering urgently. Christine exhaled with a mix of relief and grief. Janelle shuddered. Meri reached for her hand. Sentencing will be delivered immediately, in light of financial manipulation, emotional harm, and premeditation, the judge continued. Mr. Brown is sentenced to 22 years. Robin screamed, raw and desperate, collapsing back onto the bench. Kody's knees buckled. He grabbed the table edge, struggling to breathe. The moment the verdict was read split a family's history into before and after. The bailiff cuffed Kody. The wives watched, tears and blank faces alike. Robin reached for Kody, but he didn't see her. He saw no one. The courtroom erupted. Reporters sprinted. The crowd buzzed, some even cheering. Outside, the news spread like wildfire. Kody Brown, 22 years. Sister wives finally alone. Inside, the wives remained huddled. Meri clung to Christine. Janelle rubbed her back. Robin sat alone, head bowed. A reporter thrust a microphone at Meri. Do you feel justice was served? Meri's voice was tired but unwavering. Justice? There's no justice in losing everything you built. But there's truth now. Maybe that's enough. Christine spoke, her words cutting through the chaos. This isn't just about us. It's about every woman who's ever been lied to. Every family broken by secrets. We survived. That's our victory. Janelle nodded, eyes glimmering with tears. Outside, the rain had stopped. The courthouse steps gleamed. The world had shifted subtly, but irrevocably. Christine paused, hand in her bag. She had found something, hidden in Robin's papers. A secret yet to surface. Inside, the four women sat together, alone for the first time in years. Christine unfolded the paper. Kody's last will and testament. Robin, primary beneficiary. Others secondary. Shock, disbelief, and a tangle of guilt and anger swept through them. Thunder rattled the windows as they sat in silence. When lies end, sometimes the silence is even louder. Christine spoke first. I thought seeing him punished would fix everything, but now all I feel is empty. Janelle added, we spent years fighting for this family. For what? A signature on a will? Meri's voice softened. Maybe now we get to decide who we are without him. Robin sat quietly, grief and anger mingling.